Excellent. Welcome, everybody. John, we really do need to make a note to get a theme song, I think, for this. 'Cause that's getting a little
Yeah.
old.
We don't
Anyway,
like the trumpets.
yeah, exactly. So thank you, everybody, for joining today. We're glad to be back with you. We did take last week off due to some scheduling and meeting conflicts. And so I'm glad to be back with you this week. As you know, Coffee with Jeremy is all about talking about collaboration. And sometimes collaboration means coming together and really taking a step back to look at how we can help improve each other and improve the collaborative stuff that we're doing. And so as part of that, as you may recall, about a month and a half ago, we met with my business partner, John, who heads up our SGE Media Group. And we talk about SGE Media Group a lot on these, on Coffee with Jeremy. But as you may recall, a month and a half ago, we kind of started talking through how does SGE Media Group talk about what it does. And so we had some basic discussion around what John loves to call elevator pitches. I like to call them stair speeches or stair pitches because I like getting people to walk stairs. It gives me more time with them. But either one works. And the concept is that you've got to figure out how to quickly message what you're doing in a way that hooks people, that explains a problem or addresses a problem that they may see in the world, provides a solution to that problem, and then calls them to take some type of action with what we're doing. And so, John, your assignment was to go away from that conversation and to start working on your elevator speeches or stair speeches. And so we're excited to come back with you and talk about how has that experience been for you? What are some of the stuff that you're developing? And then hopefully if we've got some viewers who come on, get their feedback on some of your elevator pitches that you've developed. So good to have you here. How's it going?
It's going good, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Well, you provide a lot of logistical support through the media group side of the business for what we do here online and virtually with collaboration. And so it only seems fitting that we take some time to be helpful back to the SG Media Group side of things. So, so how has it been developing your stair speeches or your elevator speeches? What has that been like for you?
Well, it's actually been pretty exciting putting the stuff together and getting ready for today. So going and looking back and really helping kind of crystallize what we're doing with SGE Media Group, but also trying to put it in language that folks can understand and they can know how to engage with you and I. One of the hardest things about talking with people about the work that we do is actually just explaining the type of work we do. So going through the process I thought was very helpful in terms of doing that.
Excellent. And so did you kind of use people as sounding boards, or did you just try different things? How did you end up developing your final products, or your products, I should say?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I'll tell you what I did. The intention now is that this video is going to be shared to talk about SGE Media Group and to talk about the relationships with the different organizations that we have. So I used the internal process where I reviewed our first video, our first Coffee with Jeremy, what I call stair speech number 1, as it is now on the website. And I reviewed that. I listened to it. I went through the 4 steps. I made some notes in a PowerPoint presentation. And then I actually started completing the stair speeches in accordance with the 4 areas, the 4 major parts, which is the hook, problem, solution, and a call to action. So
excellent. And so why don't we just give you an opportunity to share with us what you've come up with? And like I said, to our viewers and those who may be watching, we definitely want your reactions, your questions, your feedback. You can always put that into the YouTube chat box at the bottom of your screen if you're watching with us live, or you can also tweet that using the hashtag Coffee with Jeremy. I guess that was a little duplicative. Hashtag coffee with Jeremy, and we'll make sure that we pick those up. I'm going to be looking for those while John is walking us through his Stair speeches. So, John, tell us what you got. Present how you want to present it, and we'll kind of jump in where you want us to.
Yeah, that sounds good. You let me know if you have any questions as we're going through it. So I think what I'm going to do really is just bring up my slides and show people the kind of the process that I went through to get to where I am with our presentation. So I started looking at what does SGE Media Group do, and I was sort of looking at like kind of a big picture take. And I just wrote that this slide right here is just some notes, and this is available on our SGE Media Group website. It's embedded onto the SGE Media Group page. But what does SGE Media Group do? And we started and we did our practicum work, and 3 of our major influences were Roland Loop, Kathy Dana Miller, and Dr. Stephen Cady from Bowling Green State University. And we're looking at increasing collaboration in online meetings, action planning and content development, live broadcasting or self-casting, and creating professional social media announcements. So that was like me just kind of taking a brainstorm step towards what are the solution part of what's the solution part of the elevator pitch. And then I went and I kind of mapped out what are some relationships that we have. And so G1NBC.com, we're helping with the overall strategy as an initiative with that company. We're also affiliate directors at the national level and at the local level here in Cuyahoga County. The next is the Global Engagement Network. This is a very interesting organization that is working to build the next level of engagement in independent media. And then our last relationship is Nexus for Change, and that's where we kind of hone in our collaboration skills and build a network of professionals dedicated to large-scale change. Some of the outcomes from these relationships in terms of what I've learned along the way and also what we're currently producing is web videos and shows, doing live broadcasting, whether it's using a tool like this, which is Google Hangout broadcasting live to YouTube, or using sites or apps like Periscope and Meerkat or Stream, STRE.am. Other ones are creating local TV shows, so working within the community with local independent talent and creatives to kind of come together and produce media and content that couldn't be created somewhere else. And then creating media access for people that don't already have it. Bottom-up media is kind of the gist of having relationships with all 3 of these companies. And then I took a step at looking at the hook, problem, solution, and a call to action. So I really started to, this is where I dove into the video, the first video, and I said, all right, I need to get clear and be specific with the call to action. The power of collaboration to encourage groups to collaborate and take action. I thought that those were some initial notes for the hook. And then for problem, it's this is not a low. I just took some notes on what a problem was that I needed to identify and what the solution might be, or so how SGE Media Group can provide that solution. This is just some more notes on those 4 areas: hook, problem, solution, and a call to action. Problem, I spent a lot of time defining it in terms of a business or one person. That really stuck out to me. So when I was writing, I was thinking a lot of me talking to one person. If I were to stop one person and tell them about SGE Media Group, what would I say? And so I have a couple different ones where, as a business owner, what problem would you be solving? As a person in government, what problem would you be solving? As an independent filmmaker, what problem might you have? Then I moved into what does SGE Media Group do? And I really started to hone in what the tagline was for the company or this division. And one is creating media for a changing world, and or helping your team have productive meetings online. So those are the 2. Creating media for a changing world is the old tagline, and helping your team have productive meetings online is the new one. I think it needs to be some version of both. But as far as what the services that we were offer, webinar facilitation, engage change conference calls, and you know what those are, Jeremy. Live broadcasting using Stream, Meerkat, Periscope, YouTube, and Facebook. Designing virtual conferences and interactive conversations, and creating unique video content to promote your organization.
Okay, hold. Stay on that slide for just a sec.
Okay.
So, you know what? I do have some reactions, but I love this slide. This is actually really very helpful. And what's really neat to me, John, is I can really see the overlap between the consulting side and the media group side on this slide.
Mm-hmm.
And where they really come together. And so that is amazing. I just wanted to also call to people's attention, we talked about engage change on a previous coffee with Jeremy. So if you didn't get an opportunity to catch that conversation, make sure that you go back and look for that, because engage change is really about how do you do virtual strategic planning, virtual action planning, if you will. So excellent stuff. All right, John, keep going. This is good.
Are you sure?
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
All right. So hold on 1 second. All right. So if we go back to the presentation, this is where I really started to hone it in. Remember, you guys, we're not getting to the elevator pitch yet. This is the build up. So I really kind of focused it in. I said, here's our old tagline, here's our new one. And what can we really do? So you have that list. And then I took another step at addressing what are the 3 organizational relationships that we have. One is the global engage. And so this slide just kind of talks about those organizations that I briefly mentioned earlier. And you'll see what I did was I created a elevator pitch for each organization and SGE Media Group, but this slide just talks about the organizations. So GEN is the Global Engagement Network. It's a 21st century news and content broadcasting company. They broadcast live on YouTube daily with a real-time interactive conversation. That appeals to Jeremy and I because they're taking engagement of television, news, and programming to a new level. They're actually bringing in live interactive sessions with folks. They bring in live Twitter feeds and live conversations in YouTube chat in real time. And they do it in a very clean, a very nice way that to present information. The G1N Institute, this is part of the Global One Network Broadcasting Company, the company that I mentioned earlier, G1NBC.com. It's a multimedia platform serving your local hometown. And then Nexus for Change is a collection of practitioners, scholars, and other leaders who are connected by their work in and passion for leadership development, organizational change, and group facilitation. So the intention for the elevator pitch, Jeremy, what I did was I created an SGE Media Group elevator pitch first. And then I created pitches for the Global Engagement Network, G1NBC.com, and Nexus for Change. So,
okay.
How do you want to go? How do you want to proceed?
So I think first of all, let's just stop right here, and because I think what I want to have you do is go through each one and kind of treat each one separately. I love that you've got, and I think one of the things that John has done really well is he has done a good job of ensuring that each elevator pitch is going to be targeting the right audience and the right thing that he wants to say. So I think this is really awesome. Just some initial reactions. I think you did a really, I love the process that you went through, because it was more than let's develop an elevator speech. It was more, let's really try to hone in on what we do as an organization and how can that benefit people. And that's really what this exercise can help somebody do. Yeah, you get that final, how can I talk about this for 1 minute, but it's also a process that kind of, if you do it well and you really put yourself through that process of developing it, you can really get very much more clear about what it is your organization does and how to best talk about that. So John, do we have, I'm not seeing any viewers on my side. Are you seeing any on your side?
Yeah, there's a couple. They're coming in and out, but I don't know
Okay.
if they feel engaged enough to type in the chat. If they do, I put a couple initial questions in there. If you have any reactions or questions, or you just want to say hi to Jeremy or myself, please do so in the chat, and we will bring that in live.
Absolutely. And so if you're not feeling engaged, this is where you can engage. Because what we're going to have John do is we're going to have John give each of his Stair speeches, and then we're going to give an opportunity for people to react to that via chat, and we'll be looking at that chat as it comes in. So let's have John give the first one. John, give us the overall one.
Okay, so first up we have, hold on once, I got to get it set up, so I always have to switch over to screen share mode. Give me just a second here. All right, so what you guys are seeing now is the Stair speech that I developed for at SGE Media Group. And you can see the 4 different areas in the table. We have hook, problem, solution, and a call to action. So the hook, Jeremy, for SGE Media Group is your online meetings are ineffective. The problem is your meetings have no agenda, rules, roles, or meeting purpose. We've always just done it this way is our company mantra. That's the problem. The solution is we will work with you to create an online meeting, conference, or event that fits your organization's needs. And then I've outlined our process, or at least what that online process might look like. And that is coming up with an agenda and attendees. What's the process or roadmap for your meetings? Then we'll hold the call, create some dynamic interactions, capture the outputs, and then evaluate and debrief the experience.
Okay.
The call to action is SGE Media Group will work with you to create a customized, productive meetings for your work group, team, or organization. Your success as an organization also has a lot to do with how, and so that's the call to action for SGE Media Group. As a follow-up, I wrote this. Your success as an organization has a lot to do with how others interact with your product. We also have some great relationships with several independent companies that provide web training, broadcasting, and promotion. Do any of those sound like they can meet your current needs?
Okay. All right, so I'm going to give some initial feedback. While I'm doing that, remember you can give initial feedback to John as well through the chat box on the YouTube channel if you're watching us live, or you can tweet your feedback to using hashtag Coffee with Jeremy. And John, I'm going to have you watch the chat box, and I'll pull up Twitter on my side just to keep an eye on that. Initial feedback. So I might, instead of saying your meetings are ineffective as a way to hook them, I might actually say something more as a question. Have you ever been in a meeting, especially an online meeting, where you just feel like you're getting nothing done?
Okay.
And so it makes it a little bit more of you not telling me how to hook me, but it kind of, you know, it makes me say, well, hell yeah, I've been in those meetings all the time.
Okay.
And so I can easily identify with that. Your problem, very solid. Almost a little bit too much. I might try to get that down to 1 or 2 sentences, but it's right on. It's spot on where it needs to be. Solution, make sure instead of saying we, always say SGE Media Group. That hammers it home that it's not you, it's SGE Media Group. Now, give me your call to action again, because I got a little lost.
Okay. SGE Media Group will work with you to create customized productive meetings for your work group, team, or organization.
Okay, so the call to action is almost, can we sit down and talk about how I can help you further? It's almost, it's something where you're getting to take action. So if I'm going for a soft, you know, I'm just trying to see where it's going to go, I might say, here's my business card or website's on there. Take a look at this and call me if you want to talk further. If I think it's got a lot of, I'm totally, by the way, giving my secrets away by saying this to people who end up in these conversations with me. But if I think that there's a lot of potential for it to go somewhere, and I'm really interested in how we, you know, like they're kind of catching my attention, then I might make it a little harder of an ask. Hey, listen, here's my card. We've got all kinds of stuff about this on the website. I want to follow up with you next week. Should we set a time now, or should I just email you? So it's very much about something that's getting them to do something a little bit more than go look at our website. Because that, does that make sense? Like you're kind of, yeah.
Okay, so the second part, so a little feedback on the second line, which is your success as an organization also has a lot to do with how others interact with your product. We have some relationships with several independent companies that provide web training, broadcasting, and promotion.
Yeah, so what I would actually do with that is, I love your first sentence. You may even be able to make it a little bit more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, powerful, or kind of a little bit more, I'm solving that problem, where you could almost say something to the effect of, as the CEO of your company, you set the tone, and so you can feed right into that, where you're almost making them own it. I love the second part. What I would actually say is, can I sit down with you to talk further about how we can blah, 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 blah. And so it's more kind of making that, trying to get another meeting with them, or get them to call you to set up time to dig further. But you've got it. It's just, and the other thing that I would actually say to you, and this is something that you and I have talked about just in some of the other work that we're doing, this is one where once you get it honed, totally go in front of the mirror and say it. Go to Suzanne, your beautiful wife, make her listen to it. Like so many times where she's like, you have to shut up. I can't take it anymore. Because it's all in how you say it and how you bring that solution. And so if you sound hesitant when you're saying it to somebody, they're not going to be as confident that they should follow up with you. But good stuff. I really like where you're going with this. Do we have anything from the chat box?
We do, but I'm saving them for the next elevator pitch.
All right, excellent. Well, let's move right into the next one then. And we promise, for those of you who are chatting with us, we're going to go ahead and get those comments in next. So give us your next elevator pitch.
All right, so the next one is for the Global Engagement Network. I love this organization. We've been working with them on creating their overall strategy and structure, but I've also been working with them at being an on-air comment moderator and participating in the movement that is the political revolution in our country. So as you can see here, there isn't a website yet for the Global Engagement Network, but there will be. But these are the two YouTube channels. You can see the icons I brought in. That's Bernie 2016 TV Live and Political Revolution TV. The links to both of those channels are on our website as part of this presentation, and they're on our blog. So if you just go in and look for this document, you can see the links to both of those sites. So here's the hook, Jeremy. Current content on traditional television is mostly one way pushed onto us. The problem: there's no national media there are no national media platforms or organizations that are committed to using the ideas and thoughts of the people. They are missing the mark on customer engagement and telling the whole narrative. Solution: this is a network of tech-savvy political revolutionaries that want to change the way that we engage with one another using live broadcasting. It's real people solving problems in real time. The call to action is you can watch the Global Engagement Network broadcasting on either one of their YouTube channels. We are working with them to build their network and launch their organization. So stay tuned.
Yeah, this is a very interesting one because you've got a lot of great stuff in the hook problem solution. It's very much selling Jen at the Global Engagement Network. And so until you get to that last sentence, it's not very clear what is the role of SGE Media Group. Now, what makes that really interesting is I think we're really still exploring that as we go as well, right? And so
Correct.
I think this is going to be one where, because of where we're at in that development process, I think that this is pretty much pretty spot on with where you're going. I think maybe even trying to include something about SGE Media Group in the solution piece, and how SGE Media Group, for example, has been facilitating meetings and plugging in as a volunteer stakeholder who has interest in seeing it move, or something along those lines, is kind of my initial reaction. That one I need to think a little bit more about. You said we have some comments on that. Let's go ahead and hear some of those comments.
Sure. So one is from Bernie 2016 TV. It says, "These are the big brains helping us build the global engagement network."
You know, I always struggle. So first of all, whoever said that, I love the comment. I feel weird when I hear that comment, because as I say all the time, it really helps when you've got the right people committed to that process. And so I become a little bashful when I hear a comment like that. But you know, that's just me.
Yeah. Just Jesse says, "Duplicative indeed."
Duplicative indeed. I love it.
I love when Jeremy makes up words. And yeah, I think that's it for right now. We got a lot of likes and retweets on the post. So
Excellent. That's really good. And again, I think this is one that's going to morph over time, right? And so
yeah, so I put down that
as
we
we
need
go
to make
through
a
that,
stronger. We need to have a stronger call to action, but also this is one that we can come back to as both organizations move forward.
well, and I think the other piece of that too, John, is I don't think it's bad to say that as part of your thing. We're in the process of really developing this. Maybe the call to action is, come be part of this part of our company and let us see how we can engage you. That might even be a way that you could go with the call to action. It's a little bit softer, but it does open that door. I know we're going to run out of time soon. Let's hear your other one.
Okay. Next one is for G1NBC.
Okay.
So paying for internet and TV at once is robbery. Tiered internet is slow, and cable is full of annoying content that no one watches. The problem, the current state of media does not include a network that truly represents, discusses, and fights for the people. The solution, people need to learn how to collaborate and create again. Getting involved with G1NBC at the affiliate level is the first steps towards creating media versus consuming it. The call to action is check out G1NBC.com and G1NBC Cuyahoga County. Contact SGE Media Group for help with promotion and event marketing, live broadcasting, creating your own show or reality show, commercials for your business, or advertising on our websites.
Okay. So my feedback to you is, I would take that last sentence where it says contact SG Media Group for, and lists all those different things out, and I would actually move that into the solution. SG Media Group is helping build G1NBC and helping other collaborators do this, and this. And then your call to action becomes a lot shorter. Contact us to see how we can plug you in to a local affiliate or help you create your own. And so all we're really doing is reorganizing a little bit so that you have a more pointed ask at the end. Because that really is the solution you're bringing, is you're helping to do all those 4 or 5 different things. I'm sorry, my screen just totally went black on me, so I'm not even seeing.
All right, that's cool. I like that. That's good. So you want to, I know we're running out of time and we'd like to keep these to a half hour. Do you want to switch to the last one, which is Nexus?
Yep, but just a reminder, folks, get those comments in on Twitter at #coffeewithjeremy, or any feedback that you've got for John in the chat box. Let's have you do your last one, John, and then we'll go into wrapping this up today. This has been good.
Okay, cool. Thanks. So the last one we have, I'll get it here presented. So this is Nexus for Change, guys. Nexus for Change is an organization that we've been with just about as long as G1NBC. And the question, or the hook that I wrote for Nexus for Change is, we have to come together in order to get anything done. People support that which they help to create. The problem, each person's truth is truth, and sometimes that prevents good change from happening. The solution is this network will help anyone who is responsible for managing, coaching, leading, and or facilitating a group of people or peers. We use collaborative methods to facilitate groups of 5 to 500 people. Call to action, check out Nexus for Change on the web, via Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube for updates and to connect with other members. Contact SGE Media Group to host a local Nexus gathering near you.
I really like this, and so one of the things that it does is it actually is selling Nexus for Change again, which is part of, I think, what makes SGE Media Group so tough to talk about. Is really, it's kind of like S&G Endeavors. We're not interested so much in promoting ourselves all the time. It's more of the people we're working with and the partners that we have, and in my case, it's the consulting we do and the clients that we're working with. And so, unlike the other one for G1NBC, I'm actually tempted to say this one may be okay with the way you have it framed.
I nailed it. That's what you're saying.
Having more of that solution in there as part of the call to action. And I think part of that is because in this one, you may be more interested in promoting Nexus for Change and just showing how SGE Media Group supports that. In G1NBC, I think SGE Media Group has a larger role, and so that's why I would call it out more in a different way. Those are my initial thoughts, but these are interesting ones. What I'd almost love for you to do is, I mean, maybe the next step on this is we really just bounce this out and give people the opportunity to weigh in and to give their feedback on different ones. Because this, obviously, it's my perspective, and I don't speak for everybody, just as we've learned in our last piece about collaboration and each person's truth is truth. I will tell you, I had a very visceral reaction to the way that you defined the problem. But it's actually true. And so I'm going to struggle with that for a little bit in my head to reconcile those two pieces. But I almost want to make a call out to everybody to really take the opportunity to watch these different elevator speeches or stair speeches and give your feedback. What do you like? What don't you like? What do you want to see changed in order to better understand what it is that SGE Media Group can help you do? And I don't know, John, I think that's almost your next step, is bouncing this out, like you said, to a wider array of people and really getting that feedback.
Yeah, exactly. I think so too. And I also think it was helpful for me to be able to identify those organizations that we're currently partnering with for media, because it really, the 21st century is going to be people collaborating. Collaboration is the new competition. We said that when we went to the ISODC conference in 2014 in Amsterdam, is that that's the direction that we all need to start heading. And there's some great organizations that I highlighted that Jeremy and I are working with, and we hope that this was helpful for you guys just to see a little bit more about what we do. So this PowerPoint is also on our website, and like I said, it has links to all the different organizations. I also, in the YouTube description, I have links to every organization in there as well, and links to where they can go and see where I do some of my live online work. because I have done live broadcasting and live webinar design and conferences with all three of the organizations and SGE Media Group that you guys saw today. So I appreciate you, Jeremy, going through that process with me and giving the outline last time and then your feedback this time. Very helpful. And so the next steps will be cleaning these up with your feedback and sending this out to folks for their reactions. So thanks for having me.
Excellent, John, and really glad it was a good experience for you. I think it's very helpful sometimes to really just kind of go for that collaborative spirit and say, how can we do this better? And again, I think that part of what you and I have done with these couple episodes is just really say, you know what, we're not afraid to practice what we preach. And I think that there's a lot of times when consultants can get into a rung where they are afraid to do what they're telling people to do. It's a tough process, but it does have good results, and we appreciate you coming on the show and sharing that with us. Over the next couple months, we're going to be having some appearances from our Nebraska work that we're doing with the Nebraska Walkable Communities Project. We'll have them highlighted a couple times. I'm going to also do a great episode sometime in June with a guy by the name of Andy Wessel, who I like to call the deep thought person in my life. He really has this concept of being able to take what we do with collaboration and really start looking at it in a whole new level or realm of understanding and really trying to dive into why is it that people collaborate the way that they do. So I'm really excited that he'll be on. Of course, we'll feature other clients like the North Texas Cycling Project. I'd like to actually maybe even get an interview with the Global Engagement Network to talk about some of the strategic planning they're doing and a lot of other stuff. I'd be interested, and leave comments below if you think that we should do this. This is one I'm putting out there thanks to my mother, Tammy Grandstaff, who'd like to see us do some type of a political call-in show. And so if you think that Coffee with Jeremy should do that once a month, or even John and I looking at maybe doing some further stuff around that, please leave it in the comments below and let us know. As always, you can find us on Twitter at #CoffeeWithJeremy, or you can go to coffeewithjeremy.tv to catch up on all the episodes that I know you want to see that you may have missed. So thanks again to you, John, for coming on and participating in this process. Thanks to our viewers. Tell your friends. Let's get that viewership up to 100 or maybe even more as we go through the summer. Remember, you can always take us on a walk with you as you're walking through the park, watching us on your phone and chatting with us every Wednesday here on Coffee with Jeremy. Thanks so much, and this concludes today's broadcast.